live on a Wednesday evening. I'm really sorry about the state of me this evening. It is, if you're in the UK, it's warm, or at least if you're in the northeast of the UK, it's really warm, and I'm not used to the heat. Don't do heat. I've been running around after the kids all day, so I'm a little bit frazzled. I've started a little bit early, because, and I'm now come really close to you because I'm trying to look at the computer screen that's behind you, um, just to check that everything is live and working. Because there's a possibility that it's not. I am live. That's great. So, welcome. We are a little bit ahead of 7:30. If you haven't caught me live before, or if you're watching the replay, do let me know. Comment in the comments. That's the word. Let me know that you're watching the replay. Let me know you're watching live and where you're watching from. I'd love to read your comments. And I do try and respond. Sometimes I get a little bit behind, just because life's really busy. Anyway, so I am Hannah of Stampin' by Hannah. I am here on YouTube as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, which means I sell things that are made by Stampin' Up. So this is kind of an ad, but not really, because it's more of a tutorial. But if anything you like in any of my videos, you can purchase through my online store, and the link is always in the down bar below. So this week we're using the annual catalogue, but before we get into that, I do want to very quickly, excuse my chin, remind you that this catalogue, this is the spring-summer, call it spring-summer, it's not really spring-summer, is it? It's January to June catalogue is about to retire. So it retires on the 30th of this month, so the last day, at like 11 o'clock in the evening. But the last chance sale is currently on, so if there's anything in this book that you really like the look of, do grab it quickly, because there are things that are starting to sell out. There are some really good discounts as well though, so do check that out. But also, that means that, if I can get it the right way up, this catalogue's coming. I love this one. This is the July to December. This is much more of my crafting style. I'm a Christmas crafter. Like a bit of Christmas crafting, like a winter craft, not so much summer one. So this is coming 1st of July. I think it's, 1st of July. If you want this one, do drop me a message and let me know you want one, and I'll pop one into post to you. UK only, just because of I can operate in Europe, but postage at the minute is ridiculous. So if you're UK and you want one, you don't have a demonstrator that you work with, do drop me a message and let me know. And the start, it's backwards, I'm sure it's backwards, at the start of Sale-a-bration, so you will get both of those. If you are currently in Card Club, if you do Code Club this month, or if you are a customer in the last 6 months, you'll get one anyway. Otherwise, let me know that you want one and I shall pop one in the post to you. So I think that's all the admin out of the way. Shall we get to crafting? Right, first things first, I've got to turn this camera around and point you down at my desk. So get a bit close and you can see my mess. And there we go, and you're too far over. Just sort my life out here a bit. Oh dear, YouTube is I swear, I tell you why, because I've raised the level of my camera, excuse me. Right, there we go. So, get the mouse out of the way. I love this. This bundle is so fab. I have the Botanical Layers bundle for you today. Sorry, going out of focus, but I just want to pull back a little bit. This bundle is on page 93 of the annual catalogue. Now, you can see it's a bundle by this thing at the bottom. Every bundle page has this. So you've got the 10% bundled savings and the stamp and whatever it's bundled with. Now, this is unusual, because normally our bundles are stamps and coordinating dies. Not this one. This is a stamp set, which is Botanical Layers, which is stunning, but then it comes with vellum. How cool is this? Now, the whole bundle is £24.75, so it's an absolute bargain. Excuse me, I'm still trying to get the angle of this camera right. That's better. So, it's a bargain, and you get 60, I think, sheets of vellum in here. Now, it doesn't say, oh no, it does, 60 sheets. They are 3¼ inches by 5 inches, so 9½ centimetres by 12.7, which is a bit of a weird size for a UK card front, but we can make it work. So there are some printed sheets. So you've got these lovely leaves, and you can use either side, a slightly different tone if you use the reverse to the front, but you've got those ones that are like basically like the stamp set. Then you've got this one which is dots. You've got this one which we're going to use today, which is almost like rolling hills, which I think is very pretty. I'm going to pull one of those out. Have I pulled one of those out already? I have. In my pack. Then there's this one, and I love this. This is like a swirl, lovely, really lovely. Again, pre-printed. And then, which sort of surprised me when I took this out of the packet, I hadn't realised that so that's 20 printed sheets and then 40 blanks. But you think of all the things you use for vellum, and I only ever use like a little piece. I don't tend to use a whole great big sheet. So this is brilliant, because if you're die cutting vellum, you only need a little bit. So I think this is a really good idea. Really, really lovely. And you can buy the vellum separately, and it is on its separate page somewhere near the back of the catalogue. 139. How convenient that Stampin' Up have written that on the page for me. So that's here on the Beyond Basics page of the catalogue, where it does tell you that you've got 5 sheets of each, 5 of each of 4 printed designs and 40 plain sheets, which is, it surprised me, I hadn't clocked it. But I think it's a really, really handy thing to have in your crafty stash. So we've got 2 cards this week. And let me just put that back in my binder clip, because otherwise, because they're little sheets, they're likely to just fly away. So, because I'm a bit hopeless. Now, I have 2 cards for you this week. And the first one, we're going to basically make this card in the catalogue. And then we're going to do something kind of out of my head, which I haven't made yet. So I have already gone ahead and made this card out of the catalogue, she says, and then there's all my bits in it, so it's holding everything together. So, here. Now this is Orchid Oasis cardstock. It's so pretty. And the sentiment is die cut, and it's in that fabulous in colour glimmer paper in Sweet Sorbet. I think it's really stunning, and a really different colour combination that I wouldn't probably have put together. I wouldn't have put Orchid Oasis, crumb cake, basic black, and Sweet Sorbet together, but I do really like it. So let's make this one together. I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to move my catalogue out of the way, because we've got that bit now. And I'm also going to do something I said I'd never do on camera, and that is heat embossing, because I kind of need to do it on camera for this card. The card doesn't really work otherwise. So I have got my Orchid Oasis card base, and I have got a scrap and my vellum. I've got some a scrap of crumb cake, a piece of that Sweet Sorbet glimmer paper that's stunning. That is a scrap I don't need. And I have got some of the adhesive sheets, because I will need those for the sentiment. Then, what else have I got? I've got 2 die sets, as well as the Botanical Layers. I have pulled the rectangle stitched framelits. I love these. These are an absolute basic staple in my craft room. Use them all the time. And these, which are the Amazing Thanks dies. These are fab, because you've got the kind of outline layer of the back and then the detailed word on the top. I think they're so cool. I'm going to use these for both cards today. So, first things first, let's do all of the die cutting. So I have got my die cutting machine just off to my left, and I'm not going to bring it in and out because it's just a bit clunky. So first things first, let's set up the frame. So this card has a frame of Orchid Oasis cardstock. So I can do that bit first. I've got a scrap of Orchid Oasis and my 2 of the stitched rectangles. Now, I have Post-it note for this because it hurts my brain trying to get everything lined up. So I'm going to Post-it note the big frame down first. And then I'll take the littler frame, get it centered, and then Post-it note them together on both sides, like that. Now, you could do this with adhesive sheet on the back. Do I do it with adhesive sheet on the back? No, I'm not. I'm going to do exactly the same way as I did that one, which wasn't with adhesive sheet on the back. So, I'm going to run that straight through my die cutting machine. I am still here. Oh, that didn't feel very good. Oh, I think it's because I've got my die cutting machine slightly hanging off my desk. I've not got quite enough room. So, that's that bit. Then I need, oh dear, she says, ripped the cardstock, haven't I? Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay, I've ripped the cardstock I'm not using. So we'll take that out. That's given us a beautiful frame. And I want the big frame again that I'm going to pop my, I'm going to get rid of all my scrap pieces as I'm going along. I'm going to use the large frame piece again to die cut the vellum. And this just means that I'm going to get my vellum to be the right size, because it's not quite the right size for it's slightly bigger than the frame. So let's run that through. Oh, it's fine. Makes a horrible noise, but it's okay. So just take that bit of Post-it off. And we have, she says, I've got like a little corner that's not quite, there we go. Let's pop that out. So there is our piece of vellum and the frame that goes perfectly over the top. Then we're going to do the heat embossing. So we're going to stamp onto the vellum and heat emboss it. So let's move some of these bits out of the way for a second. I am going to just grab a piece of the crumb cake because I need that to be heat embossed as well. So what I have forgotten is my spoon for my heat embossing and my embossing body. Now I have a very, very old one, but they're coming back. I'm so excited. So in the new July to December catalogue, there is an embossing kit with a tray, an embossing body, and a brush and all sorts. That means that you yeah, it's kind of perfect heat embossing every time with it. So I am going to ink up my stamp, and I'm using this fabulous kind of leafy, florally sprig. And I'm going to stamp it a little bit up. So that one I stamped kind of at the very, very bottom of the vellum. I'm going to lift it up a little bit this time. So stamp that there. I keep my embossing powder in a little tub just because I feel like it makes less mess. I probably get it everywhere just as often as I did when it was in a little tub. But see, just like that, just everywhere. So there is that bit. I'll heat emboss that in a minute. And then I've also got the sentiment that says thinking of you. Now I only actually want the U in the corner. So I'm going to kind of selectively ink my stamp, and then I'm going to stamp it down here just off of frame where you can't see it. Honestly, YouTube and Facebook are so different for doing lives on. Like the whole, the kind of bit of the camera is just looking in a different place. Maybe that's better. So I've got the U and a bit of the other sentiment, but it's fine. I just don't need it all. So if you are watching this on loud, please turn it down a bit. I have my heat embossing tool, I'm going to turn it on. So I do need to heat this up before I bring it over my vellum project. So I'm going to do the U first, and it's just magic. I love heat embossing. Like I said, I don't like doing it on camera because I just feel like it's very loud, and yeah, it's just not it's not great. It's not a great technique to the volume is just, it bugs me. So there we go. Now my vellum has crinkled a little bit, but I'm okay with that. And the reason I'm okay with that is because I've got layers to stick over it. So I am going to grab my seal adhesive, which I have left very handily across the room. As usual, this is a Stampin' by Hannah live after all. So the back of my frame I am going to cover in seal adhesive. Just like this. And you could use wet glue. You could, like I said, you could have used adhesive sheet before you've done the die cutting. The reason I haven't is because I'm a bit tight and I feel like it's a lot of adhesive sheet. Then I'm going to do is I've got that laid flat, and because I die cut the vellum with the same die that I used to cut the outside of the frame, I know it's exactly the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this corner, which is a little bit sticky, and I'm going to line it up with that corner. Then, trying to stop it from like flapping down onto the vellum, I'm going to just really, really gently kind of feed it all the way like across. So it's not a quick process because as you're kind of flattening it out, the vellum becomes slightly less crinkly. It's still a little bit crinkly, but that's absolutely fine. So then I can then add seal again onto the back of the frame. I'm staying over the frame rather than over the vellum because you can see exactly where I've put the adhesive before. I'm going to put that straight down onto the middle of my card. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with this as I did before. So I'm going to just smooth it over so it's as flat as I can possibly get it. And the card may buckle a little bit. This one is a little bit wobbly, but it's fine. But that is fairly flat. Now, the sentiment. So, like I said, I have got my, let's chop this bit of sentiment out first. I'm not going to chop it all the way because otherwise I'll lose the U. But I have got those amazing thanks dies. So I'm using the word amazing. And I have got the kind of background die and the word. So the background is going to be on crumb cake. And the other thing I have done is I have pre-cut some kind of scraps of the adhesive sheet. And I love this stuff. It comes with a kind of score line in it. So you can peel one edge off. It comes in really big sheets and I've cut this down because it's just too much otherwise. You literally just like chop around your die loosely to get the size and then stick it onto the back of your cardstock. Now when I run that through the other side, that's going to be on one side, my die's going to be on the other. So when I peel this off, it's going to be sticky. So you're making your own stickers, which I think is really cool. Now, this one, I used this piece of the paper. I'm actually going to go crossways this time. I'm going to use this bit because I want the gradient. I think the gradients might look quite cool. The ombre of the sweet sorbet going from very, very sorbet to not quite so bright. So, and then so that's going to go through there, and that one is going to go through, she says, ooh, there, like that. Right, bring out my big shot plates. I might have to chop a bit off. Oh no, that'll fit through. So let's run the amazing word through first. Oh. I feel like my machine has swollen in the heat. Just like me, basically. Oh, I should not complain about the weather because I really enjoy it when it's warm. But when you've got stuff to do and when you've got very small children, it felt very, very hot today. I spent all afternoon sat outside drinking coffee with a friend, watching the kids run around, and it's been delightful. But I might have forgotten to put sun cream on the kids, so they might have caught the sun a little bit. I know, bad mummy moment, but never mind. Never mind. They weren't burnt. So let's take the dies out of here. So because you've put the adhesive sheet on the back, the die cut doesn't always necessarily just pop out, because it sort of sticks to itself, but it does kind of wiggle out fairly easily. She says, oh, got that stuck somewhere. There. This is where talking on video goes out the window because I'm trying to concentrate on getting the die cut out. So isn't that really pretty with the ombre? That's like it's a very different look, isn't it? I do like it. So that's that bit, and then the amazing the background piece is already actually kind of fallen out. So I'm gonna pop it out. I've got my take a pick tool, which I absolutely love. I'm just gonna pop out the bits. So I'll lay that down first, and then I want to pop out all the middles. Although you don't have to, you can just sort of lift the actual die cut off. But I like to take the bits out first. It just helps me to place the die cut a little bit better, because we are going to layer this up. So, and I think sometimes it's going to be a little bit intimidating, but really, because they are bendy in that they're swirly words, so it's not that you've got a little bit of wiggle room to play with. I take the adhesive sheet off the back, and I've cut it in half from where it got stuck. But I take all of that off, so the whole of the back is now sticky, and it has curled up, but that's absolutely fine. Now I'm going to start at the G at the end, at this end, and just place that sort of centrally. You've got a little bit of wiggle in it if you need it. Try not to get the die cut stuck to your fingers, and then slowly, she says, covering the entire thing with her hands, I'm sorry, kind of wiggle it around to place it. So like there, it's long, does that make sense? So I can now manipulate it back and place it exactly where I want it. Like, so it's a little bit like tying a bow on camera, where it all kind of magically happens and you don't really see. I'm going to do the same again on the other card anyway. So this is, of course, got the adhesive sheet on the back as well. So we can just peel that off like that. And then bring our card back in and we can stick our amazing straight across. Now I'm going to cover, I'm going to stick it straight this time, which I didn't last time, and I'm covering the bottom of those, that kind of sprig. Then I've just got that little U, and I'm going to chop that straight out of there. And I did, on the original card, use a glue dot to stick this down because it is teeny tiny, but I haven't got my glue dots to hand. I'm not running across my craft room again. There we go. So I've got a bit of seal on it, and I'm going to pop that kind of half on the frame and half off. And that is the first card. Isn't that really pretty? I know that's a catalogue case, but I feel like that's closer to the original. But I really like the ombre effect glimmer paper on there. I think that's really, really pretty. So, shall we make another one? We do another one? The second card I have tonight, I have a colour combination for. So I have got lots of green. I've got Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent and Soft Seafoam, Grey Granite and So Saffron. And what I've done is I've already gone ahead and put a load of every leaf onto a block. So I have them all already. I've got some more adhesive sheet and I have got a card base cut. Now, if you saw my YouTube last week, you'll remember this card design. So I've got my card base with a layer and then another layer kind of in a frame around it. Like that. I really like this card. This card style is just so handy, and it comes together really quickly, and it's great for. I made 4 Father's Day cards. Yeah, four Father's Day cards. One for James, one for my dad, and then James has got a dad and a stepdad. So there's 4 of them now every year to make, and I use the same card design for them because it's just so quick. So. Now, I was going to emboss that white layer as well, so we'll do that bit first. So, grab all my other bits out of the way. I have got the Fern embossing folder. This embossing folder basically doesn't leave my desk, or if it does, it doesn't go very far at the moment because I just think it's so pretty. And I'm going to pop the basic white layer in there, and then it runs through the Stampin' Emboss machine, literally just like this. So you've got plate 1, the embossing folder with the cardstock inside, with the hinge going away from you or into the machine, and then plate number 4. And then that just runs straight through like that. Move all of that back out of the way. So I now have a lovely embossed panel. And then, so I've got that layer on there, and then this panel we're going to do some kind of layered stamping on. So I'm going to be really brave. This is genuinely quite brave for me. I am going to take every single one of my stamps and every single one of my inks and lay them out. So this is Grey Granite. And then we've got So Saffron, Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulent, and you can sort of tell the difference in colours sometimes. But this is why the new ink pads have got an extra strip on. Actually, I'll put that on the back. If I turn them all around, you'll be able to see better that they have all got a strip on to tell me what the colour is. Like that. So I've got my my piece of basic white, and the first one I'm going to do is that the one we did first on the other cards. I'm going to do that in Soft Seafoam and move that out of the way. So 1, I'm going to do it again. moving everything around my desk. Not got enough space. I have moved where I film my YouTube tutorials in an attempt to get slightly better light, and I think I've got slightly better light, but it means that I'm on like the end of my desk and not the wide part, so I just get myself really flustered. So we're going to use soft succulent for these leaves, and I'm going to layer them straight over. And so we've got that like ink layering, that's what I mean. Yeah, let's do this like proper leaves in Evening Evergreen, which is the colour of the card base. I'm going to add another one of those, I think. This is one of those kind of quite organic stamped cards. So every card will be a little bit different because you're kind of moving, varying where you know, everything's not going to be stamped in the same place every time, that's what I'm trying to say. So then I've got grey granite and this leaf, which I think is really unusual. And we're going to stamp that a couple of times. So you've got this really pretty, I just think it's a really lovely, it layers together really, really well. You could do this in loads and loads of different colours. And it would look nice in lots of different colour combinations. I will have to do some more, I think. Just going to close all these up. I've actually closed the So Saffron, which is the colour that I wanted. Next, because there are two like little flower stamps in this stamp set. Well, actually, there's some dots, and then there's these two kind of floral images, and I've got one of those. I can't remember if it's the small one or the big one. I think it's the big one. I'm just going to add some of those just to break up the green a little bit. Just as a little bit of something a little bit different. Like that. So that's going to layer on like that, which is really pretty, isn't it? Then, just to finish the card off, I thought we would use our, where have they gone? Amazing Thanks dies again for the sentiment. So this has a thanks die in it, or a pair of dies, which they're so handy. And I thought this colour combination would look really nice. So I've got a piece of soft sea foam, and then these, which are the gold and rose gold metallic sheets. I think these are still current. Pretty sure they're in the annual catalogue. Let's just double check, shall we, before I go ahead. Like, I'm going to use them anyway. I'm going to use them regardless, but I'm pretty sure they're in this catalogue. So, let's find them. There they are. They're on page 39. So they're on the same page as the vellum in the bundle, in that top corner. And they were so easy to miss in the last catalogue. And I just think they're really pretty. So you've got, there's a gold. It's very shiny. And then there's a rose gold as well. So I need, because this idea came to me as I was setting up this evening, so I've not kind of prepped very well. Obviously I've used the thanks out of this already, but I've not done it this evening. So I've not pre-cut my adhesive sheet. So actually the adhesive sheet comes with 3 lines on it, so you can peel off really big pieces. So all I do to get the size is I put the die on the sheet and I snip around it. And that's fair. I usually use bigger scissors just because for ease, but I've only got my little ones on my desk. So then all we do is we're gonna drop everything. Oh, did that freeze? Did that freeze or did that carry on? Because apparently I've only got 10% battery left on my phone. Because I went to charge it and I forgot. So, let's plug in. It's going well this evening. Oh, sorry, it's going really well this evening. There we go. That might adjust the angle slightly because I'm not usually plugged in. There we go. So, I'll pop this, whoop, get myself all tied in a knot, on the back of there. Adhesive sheet is one of those products that I just think I couldn't actually live without now, because I use it all the time. I'm going to pop that through. And it makes these die cuts. It's one of those things, if you're using kind of really intricate die cuts like these, it really comes into its own. And it's just very, very handy stuff to have. Definitely a staple. There's the thanks. And then just need the background piece. So again, just taking the backing strip off, popping that onto my cardstock. Like so. And then I can turn it over and run that through my cut and emboss machine. I'm not getting, because I've done quite a bit of die cutting for me this evening, I'm not moving my cut and emboss in and out of frame, because it's just, every time I move it, it moves the camera and it gets in the way. I'm leaving it where it is, and I'll just kind of bring the project in and out. So once again, I use my take a pick tool, which is another absolute staple in my craft room. I probably should, would that interest anybody, that kind of, these are the things I cannot live without in my craft room kind of video? I think that might be quite interesting. So then I take a pick again to get the backing off, because it's now, because you've put that adhesive sheet on, it is just a great big sticker. Peel that all the way off. And then again, I'm going to start at this end. And I don't know whether this is a me being left-handed thing, or whether this is this is the way most people do it. I don't know, but that's how it works for me. I think it probably is one of those techniques that it's just something that you need to play around with. And you'll find your own way. It is, after all, just a bit of card. You cannot, you're not going to get it massively wrong. And if you do, it's okay, because a piece of card either has two sides, or you can always get some more, because it is just cardstock. So there is my thanks. Isn't that really pretty and really sparkly? So let's layer this up. So I've got my stamp and seal again, just on the back of there, and there is some seal, I think, on my table, on my grid paper. This is something I don't think people share very often about seal. If you have seal that is on your grid paper and you don't want it there, you can just kind of rub it away. It does just rub off. It's quite handy, or at least it does for me. Then I'm going to pop some seal on the back of that panel. And you could pop this up on some dimensionals, but again, haven't got them to hand. They're across the room in my adhesives box. So I'm going to leave this one flat, like so. And then we can peel off the adhesive backing. There. I'm going to pop that literally straight in the middle. There we go. Now, to finish this card, I have the 2021-2023 in colour opal rounds. These are really pretty. These are definitely in the current annual catalogue. So you've got to coordinate with the in colours we've had for a year. So that's soft succulent, and evening evergreen, fresh freesia, pale papaya, and polished pink. I will get it in the end. But actually, I think like this pale papaya actually works really nicely with saffron. So I'm trying to decide, do I do green or do I do yellow? Let's stick with the green theme, I think. So I'm going to use one big one and two of the little ones in a little triangle. They're almost iridescent. They are very, very pretty. So, and that is my second card of the evening. I have made such a mess. I cannot see my desk anymore. I cannot find the card I made. There it is. There we go. This is sinking under the weight of my phone charger. Oh dear. Oh. There we go. Right, let's get this done quickly before it sinks any further. They are my two cards for this week. Thank you ever so much for joining me here at Stampin' by Hannah. If you want to know any more about the Stampin' Up opportunity, what I do and how I do it, please drop me a message. If you are shopping with me this month, don't forget to use the Code Club code to get yourself a free gift. And if you are looking at the Card Club for the month, which is £12.50, a month for 6 months, we are using Inspired Thoughts this month, which I can't see on my, it is buried on my desk. But yeah, we're using Inspired Thoughts. So if you would like to join in with that, do let me know. Thank you ever so much for joining me this evening. I am going to go now and have a very cold drink because I am boiling in my craft room. So thanks ever so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.